Hi, just thought I would give you my quick story on why I'm no longer selling overseas. I've just gotten home, I've just popped out, and I thought I'll do my story in the car before I go inside, otherwise I'm just going to forget and I'm just going to get on with my day. So I've been a reseller for many years. I've been full-time for 1.5 years now, but been part-time as a side hustle for 20 odd years. So I have always sold international and sent my items through eBay international. You have minor hiccups here and there and you're able to deal with it, but I've noticed with the introduction of AI, people are getting sneaky. I sell expensive items overseas. When I say expensive, it's expensive to me. It's, they're a couple $100. So I recently had an issue where I sent an item over to the States, and I have sent many of these items. I pack and post these items and have for many years. I'm a collector of these items as well, so I understand how people want them wrapped and presented and arrive safe, which I have always done, never had any issues. Oh, sorry, dropped the phone, Nelly. So there was this one person, I accepted an offer, they received their items. Now this person was a bit dishonest. They wanted to return the item. Now, if you know, and if you've been on eBay long enough, to get an item returned from overseas, I'll specifically use the US because that was my issue. eBay does not do return labels for overseas shipping. So you have to negotiate with the buyer if they want to return an item and offer to, and this was on eBay's advice, offer to pay them via PayPal for after they give you an invoice for how much it costs to send back through their postal system. This person was not willing to do that. They just kept saying, eBay said you give me a label, eBay said you give me a label. They actually went on to say that it's okay, I'll hold out, eBay give me my money back, they always do. So clearly they've done this before. They've claimed items either are broken or they just want to return it for whatever reason. Now, something I've learned in this return process with eBay with an international sale is they side with the buyer in the country. So the buyer was in the US, so it came under US policies and business policies and policies which could differ to Australian eBay. So this has been drawn out for over about 2.5 months now. So they put in their claim. I contacted eBay here. They told me what I needed to do. I did everything they told me to do. They even were reading the messages and then met what the other party was saying. But eBay Australia's hands were tied because the buyer was in US and it came under the US buyer policy. So eventually it got to the end of the whole ordeal, what I thought was the end, and I was refunded. Within 24 hours, my money was put on hold again. Now, throughout this whole time, so this has been nearly 2 months before I was refunded, throughout this whole time, eBay were holding on to $400 of my money. So I was out of pocket $400 for these whole 2 months, and they refunded me within 24 hours. They took it back because the other party appealed. And because, again, they are in the US, they had the right to appeal. I mean, we all have the right to appeal. And they were given the refund, and I had it taken off me within 24 hours. They wouldn't answer any more of my messages, so I got onto eBay again. eBay said to try this, this, and this. Send them the money, via PayPal. Offer to send the money via PayPal for postage. Again, offer it. I put my appeal in. Their decision. Oh, sorry, nearly dropped you again. Now, eBay Australia couldn't do anything at that point. They gave me a whole bunch of advice of what I needed to do. I followed it. There were tears. And I know it's ridiculous, but it's $400. And when this is my only source of income, it was $400. It was a big deal. So anyway, I know this has turned to it's 5 minutes, but okay, it's not too bad. So for me, I had to appeal again. It just got drawn out for so long, to the point eventually my appeal, I had to get on the phone to eBay so many times about it, and did everything they told me to do. They accepted my appeal, and I got my money back. But something tells me inside, though, this person also got their money back, because they're covered by eBay's buyer protection in the US, which is different to Australia's apparently. So it doesn't matter that they sent photos that were AI'd and incorrect, and I had photo proof of how I wrapped and packed. I actually at one point offered to reimburse them for what they claimed was wrong, and they didn't want that. They just wanted all their money back. They weren't happy to negotiate. They just wanted it all or nothing. They wanted it all. They weren't wanting to send it back. They didn't want to negotiate anything with me. And it was such an ordeal. And for me, at this stage in my life and my business, I can't afford to be spending the time back and forth with eBay, back and forth with buyers like that. So I've actually turned off my international selling, which I probably have shot myself in the foot with some of my bigger items that I sell overseas, because they're high dollar value. But again, I can't. Oh, so sorry, I keep dropping it. I don't have one of those phone holdy things in the car. But because the policies are different in the country of the buyer, it's not necessarily going to get us our item back. And because eBay doesn't provide return labels for international selling, or purchases or sales for returns, we're pretty much screwed. We have to fight. And that's what I did. I fought, and I think it worked out to be about 2.5 months before I got my money back. But it was an ordeal, and it was an emotional taxing. I know it sounds stupid, but it really was. And it really soured international selling for me, knowing that at any time, what I send over, there's not always going to be an honest buyer at the other end. And I mean, I know we have that here in Australia as well, but the return process is, a bit more straightforward. We can send them a label, we can, it will happen. They can return the item, get a refund, and we get our item back. Whereas international, it's not going to happen. And regardless of proof that I had, of photo proof of how it was packed and wrapped and what went over, and they would only provide 2 photos, and they were clearly AI docked. eBay still had to go through the process. There was no straightforward protection as a seller. So for the time being, I have put it on hold. I'm not sure what the future looks for international selling for me at this stage. But at the moment, I don't have the time and the energy to spend on dishonest buyers, international. I can deal with them in Australia because that's a lot easier with eBay, but definitely not international. So that's my story. yeah, just know that the policies to return something is very different than somebody in Australia for an international sale. And if they don't want to play ball, we will lose out. Have a great day.